They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something. That's why I ain't.
Hey, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. It's Commanders Friday. Y'all know what time it is. You listen to the Urban Sports Scene. I'm Wole. The homie Ray G's out. Hey, man, it's football season. We are here. We are here. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Hold on. I've been waiting for it. I have been waiting for this moment. Hey, before we get into it, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. If you're in the YouTube chat, we accept super chats. Super chats help us support the show. The super chats will be prioritized over all comments within the YouTube chat. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and also like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. You can also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right. Will T used to say this when he was on the show, so I'd like to keep the tradition going. Anyway, let's get into our tradition, the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus's Commanders reporter Donna Hopkins will join me to preview the Commanders season opener against the New York Giants. All right, let's not waste any time. I'm gonna have one of my favorites on the show. Y'all already know she's one of my favorites. Like I'm biased. It is what it is. It is what it is when I come to this lady. What's going on, Donna?
What's up, Wally?
How are you?
Happy Friday. We only a few days away from my favorite time of the season when it becomes real with the kickoff regular season.
Donna, we're here. We're here, Donna.
We're here. It's no going back down. It's all Wally. It all counts now.
It all counts. So, Donna, before we preview the game, I do want to ask you, like, what's the vibe for this team? You've been there. You've been at camp for this team. You've been at practices. You know, getting to speak to the players, the coaches. What's the vibe of the team right now going to this Giants game?
Yeah, it was fun this week because, you know, you look back at OTAs, training camp, preseason. That's behind us now. That book is closed. I looked at this week. I looked at the atmosphere as far as the vibe, that I saw from the players when I talked to them. It's excitement right now. All the players told me they're ready to go. They're ready to get out on that field for the real deal. And you could see the confidence there as far as, you know, me, I'm always looking at the offensive line and the defensive line. So I started there with those guys and some of the new guys like Eddie Goldman and Dietrich Wise and Javon, Kinlaw. I was talking a lot to them on Wednesday this week. Just, you know, those are newcomers to the team. And then I was talking to Coach Witt about where he saw this defense, and I wanted to see where he saw this defense as far as the run defense. So, I mean, and then talking to Frankie Louvu, who I hadn't talked to all training camp because I purposely wanted to talk to the newer guys. So I got to talk to Frankie about what he saw in this defense going into the regular season. And I think what he said was really good because he said, you know, they've been working hard and all of those things, but you don't know where you're at until you really get on the field, you know, with an opponent to see where you are, measuring where you are. Now, I thought it was interesting with Coach Witt this week that, you know, when I asked him about the run defense, he talked about the length of this defense. And we were talking about last week how big this defense is as far as size-wise. Because when you stand up, well, I'll look small beside all of them anyway. But when you stand up beside them with what they had before, this defensive line is pretty big. Bigger than they've been in a long time. As Coach Witt said, they're long and everything. So the run defense, he said, should be much better. You know me, I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, because of the size. And he was talking about what they did also. He talked about this early in the OTAs and whatever, that they were changing up some things pertaining to run gap and all of that stuff. And so I want to see how, and I saw a little bit of that with the little bit that we saw of the starters in that preseason game, but I did see a little difference in there. But you know what? We're getting ready to take the temperature up a lot more this coming week against NFC opponent with the New York Giants. And I don't care what anybody says, the New York Giants are solid at defense. They were pretty good last year also. But when it's a divisional game, it's a whole different ball game. The Giants got a new quarterback in Russell Wilson. You know, they played against him last year when he was with Pittsburgh, so they know his DNA. So I think that what I saw this week is a team that's ready to go, and a team that has changed a lot of things to get better this year. They knew they needed to get better on the offensive line, more depth. And I do like the offensive line right now. And we even got Cosme back in there, but you know, with Brandon Coleman. What? Yeah. Brandon Scherf is already retired.
Retired, I know.
I'm going to want him back to be. But Brandon Coleman, you know, was itching to get back in that last preseason game that they played in. And Josh Connolly, I'm curious to see how he's going to come out of the gates, because right now I thought he's done a really good job of what I've seen so far. I mean, he doesn't look like he is a rookie coming out the gates right now. Now, of course, you know, it'll probably be some things that he'll look at and then he'll get better at over time once you get your feet really wet. And then Jalen Lane, talked to him this week also. I mean, I really talked to the rookies that were going to be out there, and more so Bill and Koski Merritt and Jalen Lane. And those guys are really, to me, you know, they said they weren't trying to look at, and then Trey Amos talked to him too, but they weren't jittery as far as, okay, this game is coming. The game is not bigger than them, you know, where they're coming into it, because Bill said that he looks at every game as an opportunity to get out there and play. So I do like the atmosphere, but it's all about, as Coach Quinn said, it's about this coming Sunday and how this team plays.
I like the vibe. It seems like this team is kind of amped up for this game, and it's good. It's a good thing.
Can you feel me? Can you feel me amped up?
Hey, Donna.
I'm
always amped up.
Like, hey, Wally, I'm sitting here almost like busting at it. I mean, I was busting at it when I saw that new locker room this past week. Okay. And I was like, whoa.
What's up with the locker room? What's up with the locker room?
They revamped the whole locker room. I mean, it looks like something out of the Star Wars. I mean, the seats for the players, as far as the storage area, the big W in the middle of the floor when you come in there. I mean, I couldn't even do my job of reporting on Wednesday because I was too busy walking around looking at the locker room, because it is something to behold. And I was laughing at myself. I said, girl, you look like you in a candy store. You looking around like, whoa, look at this. And I told the players, I said, I can't even do my job in interviewing you, because I'm walking around trying to see where everybody is at, you know, and also look at how they upgraded that, because we've been waiting to see that. Pictures don't do it justice. You got to be there. And the money that the Commanders have invested in the training room, as far as the recovery room, the locker room, all that spells is success of this team wanting to move forward in the right direction. But Wally, it all comes down to what?
Winning.
W's.
That's all we care about.
W's. That's all at the bottom line, because they got to start out the gates really fast. And you don't want to lose to your opponent, as we saw on Thursday night. The Eagles get the Cowboys in a good game, and I didn't even think that was going to be that close, but it's an NFC East divisional game, and you don't expect anybody to blow anybody out. And, you know, for the Eagles, they look a little sluggish. I thought that they would play a little better, but everybody is still getting their feet wet, because I always say the first 3 to 4 weeks, it's kind of sloppy.
Very sloppy.
Because they haven't played any real ball as far as the starters go.
No, I agree with you. It's pretty sloppy. The first 3 weeks or 4 weeks, especially for the offense. Usually offenses start slow, but the Cowboys Eagles game, the offense started fast. The defenses were slow, but yeah, I agree with you. You want to start fast, but getting into Sunday's game, I mean, obviously again, Washington's playing the Giants at 1 p.m. at Northwest Stadium. You'll be there doing your great work as always. But what are your expectations for the Commanders heading into their season opener against the Giants?
Yeah, let me just start on the offensive side of the ball. I really want to see the running game really get out the gates fast. I don't feel like that they ran the ball as much as I would like last year to kind of like, make the offense a little more balanced than what it was. But I think that in the backfield with Austin Eckler and Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez, and then Bill Merritt, Koski Merritt, Jacoy Koski Merritt.
We call him Bill. We all call him Bill. We all call him Bill.
AKA Bill.
Yeah,
somebody told me, somebody said, hey, his name is not Merritt. I said, okay, his name is partly Merritt too. Yeah. I just kind of like cut it short. Yeah. So I just called him Bill. And it's funny because Kingsbury, they was asking, hey, do you call him Bill? He said, yeah. He said, because that's what his name is. And he said, and I got it right this time, like OZ last time.
I know what's like OZ.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny this week. And that's the reason why I say it's a little loose this week as far as just everybody across the board, even the coaches. But getting back to, what I'm hoping to see as the Commanders get out the gates in this first game is on the offensive side of the ball is their running game with those 4 guys. I'm not for sure who's going to be carrying the ball the most or anything, but I just want them to be able to carry the ball and get through the holes, because one thing I did see is that offensive line run blocking was really good. And I want to see how the offensive line gel as far as giving Jayden enough time to survey the field, because the Giants defense is good and they're going to come after Jayden. So I want to see how the offensive line holds up. And then, when we look at the wide receivers, what is that connection with Jayden as far as those guys get open? Because we know that Debo is going to be in the backfield also some. And then how those receivers, as far as spread the field, going, as far as Jayden over the middle, Debo over the middle, because this is the thing that Coach Quinn said about the wide receivers is they're going to utilize them in different roles as far as, because when Terry was out, they used Debo and Jayden Lane as far as across the middle, as far as going long and whatever, a combination. But the big key is I want to see how Noah Brown, because I've been watching a lot of Noah Brown. And
okay, but I'm going to ask you about him.
Really watch him and his skill set. It's something nice to look at. I mean, his feet work. I was talking to him this week. I said, man, I was watching you in that last preseason game in warm up, and I said, your feet work, your cutbacks. I said, you're changing direction or whatever. It's more so what a running back does. And I said, that is what is needed. So I want to see how Noah Brown being out there, because we didn't get to see much of him because of the little injuries, nicks and everything. But I'm really wanting to see how that wide receiver group is improved this year with Debo and Lane out there, along with Terry and Noah Brown and whoever else they throw. And then, Zach is going to be the go-to guy anyway for Jayden. So I'm looking to see how well that offense that we haven't seen really much of the starters in a preseason game. I want to see how they click. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I already talked about that. I think that they're much improved all the way, especially on the back end. I want to see, because look, Malik Neighbor, you got to go up against him. And we know last year, this guy came out the gate strong too. And when you look at the offense for the Giants, I mean, you shouldn't take them light or anything. I want to see how the defensive front get to Russell Wilson and rattle him. I want to see them take away the ball, because that's something that Coach Witt said is they want to take away the ball more so this year than they did last year because they didn't create enough turnovers. But I want to see the pass rush. I want to see how the back end of the defense also, of course, I already said stop the run.
Yeah.
But I want to see how the back end with those guys back there, really work out. Because when you look at the Commanders' back end with those cornerbacks, they are really strong, and all of them are healthy too. Trey Amos, I want to see how much he plays. And these corners play lockdown. It's not like they give everybody 5-10 yards.
At least you said this. You told me this.
They play up on you. And I want to see, again, with the offense, back to the offense, the defense of the Giants, their edge rushers are pretty nice. They come after you. So I want to see all of those pieces that I have not seen yet. I want to see how the new pieces really make this team much better in the first week, because like I said, we haven't really seen them against an opponent out there. I've seen a little bit up in New England, but that's totally different. When the whistle blows and when it counts, that's what I'm talking about. What am I going to see there?
No, I'm with you. And you speaking of the pass rush, you got Andrew Thomas for the Giants, who's out, who's doubtful. So there's an opportunity for that, for the Commanders pass rush to do damage. I'm with you. I think that, like, to me, the thing that I'm more intrigued with is just how bad this team was against the run last year, and I want to see improvement. Like, that's all I want to see. Them against Tracy for the Giants, they're talented running back. I want to see if they're up to the challenge, because Tracy last year was quite productive against this team when he touched the ball in terms of average yards per carry. So I want to see if it really is improved. Like, we talked about getting bigger, and I've heard that term being used throughout this training camp for this defensive front. But sometimes I just want to make sure it's not just they're bigger, that they're skilled, right? I think a lot of times we look at like size and we're like automatically think like this is going to stop the run. Now I want to see it like you, Donna, because you're always about, that's what I love about you. You're always about show me. Like, show me. So, we're done with the shorts. We're done with practicing against each other. We're done with the preseason games where guys,
pads come on for real.
Real pads come on. Like, no one's wearing a protected jersey. We're gonna get to see who's who, right? So, like, I want to see that. I want to see the true physicality. What I mean?
Because
like,
all faces of this team. Now, I'm a little nervous about the special teams as far as
the
return game. I think
kickers,
that the return game is going to be all right, but I'm worried about the kicking game,
of course,
a little bit, because that's the reason why they want to basically score touchdowns, and not rely on field goals, because I think that's a little shaky going into the first season, in the beginning of the season, and then back to the defense. Looking at the Giants, they are not slouches on offense. Now, I mean, in the past few years, they've had moving parts at the quarterback position often, but their wide receivers are really solid. I mean, Slayton, like I said,
they always does something.
They got Johnson as far as the tight end. So, I mean, it's not going to be just a walk in the park and everything, because it's a divisional game. But again, they can't worry so much about the Giants. It's about, okay, what makes the Commanders better this year in all three phases of this team. You got an upgraded offensive line that you added depth the last 2 years. So how is that going to mash all together? Because remember, the Commanders haven't had the offensive line together pretty much all training camp, because you had different people out because of injuries and everything. And so now this will be the real first time that you see them in action. Like I said, you got Cosby out, but other than that, pretty much everybody is there. So I want to kind of like see right now how they really mash together to make this thing go. I ain't mentioned Jayden because I think Jayden is Jayden. I already see, what he does. He just makes everybody better. But I want to see how Kingsbury, his play calling. I want to see how aggressive he is, with his play calling. So that's going to be interesting too, right there, as far as, they've been together. Everybody's been together. The coaching staff was here last year. So, each other a little bit better because most of the offensive side of the ball is not new. You just got a little few pieces in there. But like I said, let me see how that running back room is going to really perform. And what I want to see is on third down and short.
Yeah.
So I don't want long third downs and everything. I want to see how you move the chains and you stay closer. And of course, the Commanders to me are going to go on fourth downs probably a lot, like they did last year. And they were their percentage was good because pretty much they picked up those fourth downs and everything. So like I said, on paper, yes, they look like they're better. But it only comes down to, as Coach Quinn said again, how do you play on Sunday when it really counts? And the emotions are going to be up too because it's a sellout crowd. So it's going to be rocking to start off the NFL season when you already got a sold out crowd over at
Northwest. Yeah, I know. I get confused too. I know.
What is the stadium again?
I do the same thing, Don. I'm like, I want to say FedEx. I'm like Northwest. I was gonna say Raul John one time. I was like, it's everything.
They didn't change the name enough that I got to like, what is it now?
What's that? I know. What is it now?
It wasn't no name at one point.
Exactly. It was a no name.
Yeah.
Looking for a sponsor. Looking for a new sponsor. Coach Lombard said Washington Pass Pro is undoubtedly better, but is their run blocking better?
I think that again, that's what you got to see. I mean, I saw them in practice go up against the defense, but again, it comes. I didn't see enough in a real game, because they didn't play much in that second preseason game, so you couldn't really measure where they are with the pass blocking. So that's the reason why I said I want to see how the offensive line holds up as far as protecting Jayton. Now, one reason why they did go after an offensive lineman again this year is because they wanted to protect Jayton. Well, let me tell you, Laramie Tunsil, what a great addition right there.
I think it's amazing.
And then, like I said, Josh Connolly has really played well. And then Brandon Coleman, and I'm just mentioning those guys because those are the newcomers to the team. And I think with those three people added on with all the guys that were here last year, I mean, that's the reason why I said that I think they'll do a good job. Well, let me just say this. It'll be a good test with the New York Giants.
I agree. It'll be a great
test. Their defense, now you're going to be tested to see where you are really as a team, as a whole. And that offensive line is going up against a solid defensive line of the Giants. So we're going to be able to have those questions answered as far as how good they are, because let me tell you, they're coming. They're going to bring the heat. And so we'll be able to see how the offensive line holds up, because just the gelling together also is not something that just happens overnight either. It happens over time. So I think, like I said, the run. I thought they did a good job, but that'll be a good measurement with the New York Giants too. And on the other end, with the secondary, it's really good to be able to see how that secondary really does hold up against receivers that they're going to be thrown their way.
Yeah, John agrees with you, Don. He says, I'm ready to see Conley make himself a statement. Yeah, I'm ready for that too.
And he doesn't seem like he's nervous. The thing about Josh Connolly, and I've seen and I've talked to the coaches about him all preseason and training camp, is that if he makes a mistake, and up in the New England game, I saw him adjust. Okay, he may have got beat on one play, but you weren't going to beat him on the same play the next time. And that's what you're seeing with him, is that he can correct his mistakes quickly and you won't see it happen again. And one thing that the coaches did say, the reason why they're able to throw a lot in at this team right now, because this team really studies the playbook. So they don't have to be trying to like, okay, can't put that in yet because we're not ready to put that in because of the people haven't grasped the playbook. But they said that's the great thing about this team, is that they really study the playbook. And Kane I talked to him a little bit this week also, and I asked him the difference in his game from the rookie mini camp through the OTAs, training camp, and preseason. Is that he said he really learning how to study film, and I said, wow. That's really good. That was really good to hear. So you can just see people are starting to grasp the things that this is how I get better, knowing how to really study the film of what I'm looking at in a team and all that. And that's to me is already growth.
Awesome. Hakeem Walker says Debo keeps saying to the media, we will score a lot of points. He's new to this team, but I believe him. Do you think the offense can get off to a fast start?
I mean, you got number 5. You got number 5. Do I need to say more?
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a better offensive line. You got weapons in the backfield, and then you got weapons out, as far as along the sides that Jayden gets the ball through. So there's no reason why the Commanders shouldn't get off to a fast start on offense and shouldn't be able to score points and everything, because you got enough weapons on offense that defenses, I don't know how, even if they're great defenses, I think that the Commanders have, you got to be able to match up with them.
I agree.
Because guess what? The thing that's going to kind of like throw teams off is Debo Samuels. Is he the receiver? Are we going to worry about him being out there? Or he's going to be in the backfield as a running back. So they're going to be able to throw teams off a lot on defense because of Debo Samuels.
I like what John just said. No kidding. Who do you key on? It's impossible. Eckler out there too, and a defense. And a defense head is spinning. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying is that they have multiple weapons on offense. Along with number 5, who can run and also pass and is also accurate. So you got Terry that's going long, that, as far as just the balls going to him. I mean, I don't know how much he's playing because, it's 10 days in, but is that enough time for him to really get up to speed as far as football speed? I think that he'll be up for the challenge and everything, and they are going to play him, I think, quite a bit. But again, what throws people off is Eckler can catch the ball coming out the backfield. Jeremy McNichols, all of them really can catch the ball. So with Kingsbury mixing it up between the backs, and like I said, Debo, you don't know whether in plays he's going to be the running back or he's going to be the receiver.
Very true.
And then Jaden Lane has really been impressive too, because his speed is unbelievable. So, and then, like I said, you got Zach Ertz. We ain't even talked about him because he's a weapon in itself. So you basically have so many different moving pieces that you can utilize on that offense.
I totally agree, Don. That's why my expectations for this, for this game is like the offense to still be explosive. I know, we talk about, and my man, shout out to my man, Coach Lombard, said September football is pretty sloppy, but I just feel like, to your point, Don, that like you got number 5, you got a bunch of weapons, and like we saw how it was hard for defenses to pretty much contain this offense last season. Now with more weapons, I think it's going to be even harder, and just also the maturity of number 5. You know what I mean? Like he's already so mature.
He's gotten better.
Yeah, he's gotten better, right? So I just think personally, like that this offense will be hard to stop, period. It don't matter. And no knock on the Giants. And the Giants have like you mentioned, a great defensive line, but just what Jayden brings to the table of just being not just with his arms, but if you're a pass rusher, you're automatically aggressive. It's, times you're going to be out of your lane. You're not going to always work in cohesion. Like, so to me, even if you're rushing him well, he has a way to kind of avoid that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a statue in the pocket. So there's just, and then with those, and then just the playground plays alone, right? Say he breaks containment, and now the cornerbacks are coming in trying to stop him, or the linebacker, somebody's wide open. You don't want to leave Debo open in the open field, because then that's a crazy situation. So to your point,
you don't want to leave Lane open.
You don't want Lane open. Like, so there's just you and Terry open. There's so many weapons out there now that with him that I don't care what defense is out there. Yeah, you can you can contain him. That's possible. I'm not going to say that you can't contain him, but it's going to be hard to stop.
Well, let's look back at the Giants as far as on offense with Russell Wilson being under the center this year for the Giants, and he was in Pittsburgh last year. So as Coach Witt said, they know Russell Wilson. They know, and not only that, Russell Wilson is a guy that goes with the long ball and everything. So this is a good measuring stick for the Commanders secondary. Also, those safeties, I think the safeties is one of the strongest areas on this defense. Also, when you look at who's at safety, and like I said, who's at cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore is 100%. So I am biting at the bits to see just him put on, the pads to be healthy for the first time. And then, like I said, across the board, Mikey Sanders still, and then Jonathan Jones, I think he's still nicked up a little bit. But then you got Trey Amos, the rookie that has not played like a rookie. And like he told me in New England, the one thing he learned right there is, man, you got to start off fast because there's no, second chances and whatever. You can't like come out the blocks where you just tiptoeing. You got to come out the blocks exploding down the runway per se. And so so when you look at if this defense can rattle Russell Wilson early and everything and get him, because look, Russell Wilson is still a good quarterback, but Russell Wilson is not the quarterback he was when he came into the league.
Not
he wasn't
far from
back
it.
in Pittsburgh, or guess what? He would still be in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, it's going to be interesting to see Von Miller. I didn't even mention him, but I want to see how he come around the edges and that with how they utilize him and the linebacker group with Frankie and Bobby. And like I said, when we look at this, we like, oh man, we're excited to see how this team really rocks and rolls. Again, I think the Giants is a good test for both the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball for the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm with what Todd say. I think Todd said he's not impressed with the Giants' offense. I'm other than neighbors. I'm in agreement with that because I feel like you're right. Russ is not the same Russ. I actually think Russ is gonna lose his job. I feel like the rookie will take his job.
He might.
Yeah, eventually. I feel like Russ is not. And one thing I'll say this: for some strange reason, and know it's a different regime, a different team. Washington historically has done well against Russ. Historically, Russ is I don't think Russ is as mobile as he used to be. He's still mobile, not as mobile as he used to be. And Russ isn't as accurate as he used to be. But is that better than Daniel Jones, right? That's the question, right? I think that's the thing. And yes, it is.
Because Daniel Jones got shipped out quickly last year.
Yeah, but I will say this, though, about to be fair with Daniel Jones. You're right, Donna. In general, he is better than Daniel Jones. But for some strange reason, Daniel Jones just cooks Washington. So I don't even want to he's great against Washington. Daniel Jones is his best of him he's his best version when he plays the Washington Commanders. I don't know why Washington.
That's because they didn't have lockdown corners.
Donna,
or not only that, they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't.
Man, that dude gave me nightmares. I don't even know why. Like he looked like Daniel Jones looked like Michael.
They made him look like he was $1 million.
But we would play against Russ and do our against Russ. That's what kills me. Like through Daniel Jones' career, we would play Daniel Jones and he would kill us. We could play Russ.
But Wally, different team.
I agree.
Different team. It wasn't a team of last year or this year. It was those teams under Ron Rivera's their defense.
That too. I agree with that.
And when we look at their defenses, they play so far off the ball.
Yeah, they did.
I could have ran out there and said, "Hey, throw me the ball." Because because you can get, you already going downfield because nobody is playing press defense up on you. So again, I think that when we look at this team and this year, we got to say, well, on paper they look much better, but again, it's about how you execute on game day.
I totally agree with you, Donna. John had a question about Neighbors. Neighbors is going to play. I heard he's been upgraded to healthy, so he's going to play. Andrew Thomas is doubtful, the left tackle. So
and that probably won't be until game time that you know about
Neighbors.
About that,
Neighbors for real. Talking about Neighbors for real. You talking
Well,
about Neighbors?
I think Neighbors is going to play.
He gonna play. They say they listed Andrew Thomas right now for doubtful, which pretty much
Yeah,
means
but that's the reason why I said we won't
Yeah.
know about him until probably game time.
Sure.
As far as they'll go out there, warm up, and all of that. So we won't know about that particular play. But I look at Neighbors playing out there.
Oh, Neighbors playing. He's gonna play.
I mean, if he plays, he may not be 100%.
Yeah.
But his 100%. But look, his 90% is better than some players 100%.
True. His 80% better than players 100%.
Exactly.
So I'm with you, Donna. Totally agree with you. Hakeem said, I've been very impressed with DQ since he became the head coach. For him to have a fully healthy roster week 1 is incredible. Do you think DQ will take a leap into the to the top tier of head coaches in the NFL? Donna?
I've been pretty impressed. I mean, when you look at Coach Quinn when he was with Atlanta and, learning with what he, blessing that, as far as just the injury bug didn't get the Commanders, and I hope it doesn't. But back to Coach Quinn. I've been impressed with Coach Quinn because, the way he has assembled this team and the coaching staff and what the competition thing that is all about competition, is not about your name. And I just think that he brings a freshness to the coaching room that is missing across the NFL somewhat, because I feel that he gets it. And I think that he learned from his first time in Atlanta. And, he was successful defensively in Dallas. Dallas had one of the top defenses while Coach Quinn was there. But I think that what he challenged not only the players coming back this year, but what the challenge of the coaching staff, he challenged them just as much as he challenged the players. I think that's where you see a good coach. So I think that you should be talking about Coach Quinn, but it all comes down to the success of the team too.
No, I agree. John said, I think DQ
that's what I was
coach.
saying. That's what they were talking about. Russell Wilson can throw the deep ball. Coach Witt talked about that this week, is that they've got to be mindful that despite Russell Wilson not being the old quarterback that he was, he still can throw that ball downfield.
Yeah, he does a great deep ball. That's a fact.
Accurate deep ball too.
He does an accurate deep ball. So Santiago, shout out to you. Yeah, he does an accurate deep ball. John said, I think DQ is a great coach, but he won't get his true due till he erases that Super Bowl loss. Yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate.
That's what I'm saying. It comes down to you winning and you getting back to that Super Bowl. But I still think that he will get his credit even without the Super Bowl, because if you're successful as a coach and you're in the playoffs every year, you go to the championship game, you will get some due, praise and everything. But the biggest praise comes, of course, is when you win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, hey, you're welcome, Hakeem. Hakeem, yeah, you're welcome. Well, we answer questions here. Todd says, DQ has done a great job of assembling a great coaching staff. I agree. Totally.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that coaching staff stayed in place this year, because I think that this team can be much better because of that coaching staff staying in place where, but then again, you look at Coach Quinn and what he did, and I'm giving him kudos, because even if somebody would have left this last year, he placed people in place to take those people's places,
agree.
After Kingsbury, after Coach Witt. He had people in line to be able to step right in if they chose to leave. So that's the reason why I said he's did a fantastic job of assembling that coaching staff.
No, I agree. He has. He's done a great job. It's like the staff is like, if someone leaves, because you assume that if you're doing well, someone's going to leave and take another position, but he's kind of had a guy layered in to kind of learn from that person to take over. It's a great staff, to be honest with you. And then you got guys who you could tell that don't want to be head coaches anymore. There's some of them don't. You could tell, or try to be. They like their slot. Like a Ken Norton Jr. I feel like likes his slot as a linebacker coach.
Yeah, exactly. I think a whole bunch of them in some of the positions. You do see some guys being head coaches.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Coach Simmons, and you can
Yeah.
see him being a head coach. You can see even Coach Witt if he gets the opportunity to be a head coach. And we already know Kingsbury has been there before. But sometimes head coaching is not all that's cut out to me, because it's a lot of pressure coming there.
Yeah, Lynn too.
But I think people have to like where they're at, whether it's a head coach, and Coach Lynn, he's been a head coach in San Diego.
Yep.
So with the Chargers. So well, now it's the LA Chargers.
I'm
talking about San Diego when
I do the same thing.
Real name was.
Yeah.
But Coach Lynn, and I think that's the reason why Coach Lynn is going to make that running back room is going to really, to me, take the next step because of Coach Lynn. And you can, and trust me, I watched them with Bill. And Bill told me this week that I said, hey, how do you see Coach Lynn as far as what he's told you? And he said, Coach Lynn has made me a better running back. I've taken in what he told me in OTAs, rookie minicamp, and I saw him drill Bill. And I was like, oh, man, you was on him, Coach Lynn. But you can tell that work that he put in and what Coach Lynn has instilled in him, you can start seeing that in his play.
So, Donna, how important is it for Washington to set the tone early in week 1 against the Giants for the win?
Absolutely. Number one is important. You better bust out the gates, and you better make sure that people know that this is my house. I'm taking control of this game, not allowing you. It's the tempo has to be the Commanders from the beginning of the game. They have to take the Giants' hearts early. Not even let them in the presence of the game. I think that for the Commanders, I mean, with everything that they put in place, that we have to see it coming out the gates right away.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they got to start fast. I think it's I think they need to score with their first possession.
Wally, you know me. You better bust it. I expect you, if you get that ball first, expect you to go downfield like in that Philadelphia Eagle and Dallas game.
It scores touchdown.
Team drove down well, that didn't say much about their defense, right?
Yeah.
In that game.
Hey.
But I expect nothing less but the Commanders, if they get that ball first, for them to drive it down the Giants' throats in the first play if they get the ball.
Yeah, tempo. Definitely going fast. I think Cliff Kingsbury and his offense is definitely going fast. Mike has a question for you, Donna. It says, Donna, we know you are Coach Lynn's favorite reporter. Who will Bill start?
I don't know that.
who will Bill start before the middle? I'm sorry. I guess it's that. Will Bill start before the middle of the season?
I think people need to stop looking at starters, who's starting the game and all that. I think Coach Lim and Coach Kingsbury was asked about, who would be the starter in the backfield. But I'm just looking at the way the Commanders, I think, mix it up to throw people off. Who's the hot hand? If this person is the hot person that comes into the game, then you go with that hot person. I'm not looking really at. To answer your question, for me, I'm not looking at who starts. I think that Coach Kingsbury is going to utilize all of his backs in one way or the other. And remember, I told you that Debo is going to be part of that backfield. Yeah. You're talking about 4 backs. We're talking about 5 backs because Debo makes that 5 back and everything. But look at it this way. Each back does multiple things differently. Eckler gives you a different spin with what he does, hitting the holes out of the backfield. I think Rodriguez is your bruiser as far as your goal line runner and everything. He's going to be that Brian Robinson on the goal line. So that's how, and we saw a little taste of what Chris Rodriguez did last year and how they utilized him. And I think it's going to be the same way this year. And then Bill comes in and he just adds a different flavor to that back room too. Each person has his own uniqueness that makes that running back room really special this year. And so I'm not per se looking at, I don't really care who starts. I just want to see who's productive in the backfield and how they utilize. And I just think that it's not per se a real starter because I think that different people are going to get touches throughout the game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's going to be running back by committee. But I will ask you this question because of it's gonna be hard to suit up like 4 backs, right? That's not
Yeah.
a thing that Bill is like 4th on the depth chart. Like I know he's everyone's favorite, and Cliff Kingsbury had an interesting comment to say about the hype train with Bill. I don't know if it was like I don't know if it was he was joking around, having a good time with it because he obviously knows that the fan base loves Bill. Is there a chance that Bills could be inactive on
It's
Sunday?
possibility. I mean, I
Okay.
think that Kingsbury is looking at matchups also because you got to think. I'm a big fan of Bills too. Rah cheerleader. Really want to see him well, but fans have to remember is they look at who better matches up with the team that they're going up against. And I think experience-wise, you got to look at experience too. So it's a chance that Bill does not suit up this first game because you think about who plays special teams too. That comes into the equation too. So I'm not for sure until it's come Sunday who's going to be out there. But we know that one player for sure is going to suit up, and that is Austin Eckler. Yeah. And I think Chris Rodriguez is going to be your other one.
Yeah.
And then, Jeremy McNichols, the thing about the reason why I think he ends up suiting up too.
They like him a lot,
is that he can play. This is what Coach Lynn told me last year is that the thing that makes Jeremy McNichols really great, and that's the reason why I knew he was going to make the team, is that he could play both Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler's roles. So therefore, why would you let go of a player that plays both of those roles? Then again, I think that you only going to suit up 3 backs is because you got Debo.
Yeah,
Debo is going to be in the backfield too. So somebody is going to be out. Who that is, I'm not for sure. And then again, pass protection. Thank you for throwing that out there.
Can Bill pass protect? Can he?
Oh, well, I mean, we know that Jeremy McNichol is a better pass blocker. So that's the reason why I say he's suiting up.
Yeah.
So in this first game, I think you're going with sure money people.
Got you.
I just feel that way. That they're going with sure money people. Now, I could be wrong, but I think that it's going to be Eckler, McNichols, and Rodriguez.
So I see you pretty much had I'm listening to you, Donna, because I always say Donna keeps it 100.
I could be wrong,
Donna. You always keep it 100 from what you see. That's all I like.
But I'm just telling Wally. I'm just telling them why I think it's going to be those 3 people for that reason.
And I want to make this clear. The reason why I'm saying you keep it 100 is because you already stated that you cheer on Bill, like what you stated, like you're pro Bill and that you're rooting for the kid, but you just put out a logical response about why you feel like it's going to line up the way it's going to line up. You know what I mean? And you, like you say, you could be wrong, and you're not saying that you're right, but I'm saying that's a logical way of putting it out there. I think that's because that's one thing I was saying.
Fans don't come back and get on me when you say, "Hey, Donna, you was wrong." I told you my opinion of why I think it may go the way I said it.
Yeah, and I think I actually think it's correct. I feel like because this one, I'm not the best. So full transparency, I'm not the biggest Jeremy McNichols person. I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of folks. I am not, but I do acknowledge from what you have told me, Lake, Candy, Lou, all like you all have said, like this staff loves Jeremy McNichols. I've heard that. I hear that religiously.
The reasons why I told you the reason why they loved him because he produces when he gets out there. Yeah,
so I've heard this like consistently. Like I've heard this. So I know that they love him. So I know that, period. So then it's like, all right, Eckler, to me, signs already told that Eckler is going to be RB1 it's in the depth chart anyway, but he's RB1. And plus with the connection of with Lynn from Anthony Lynn from their days with the Chargers, that just works perfectly, right? Then you need a bruiser. You can't just have fast. You need a bruiser, and that's C-Rob. You know what I mean? So it's like, and you're not going to carry 4, so somebody's the odd man out. You know what I mean? So no, I agree. I feel like, and that doesn't mean that Bill won't get his opportunity sometime in the season
will.
because he will.
Yeah,
but I do think when the season starts, we're talking about the first 4 or 5 games. He probably won't get. He probably won't. It's gonna be harder for. It's gonna be hard for him to get on the field, barring injury.
I saw somebody put up that Luke McCaffrey may not be.
I saw that. I was trying to be nice.
He could be out because when you got Terry, when you got Lane, who Lane plays. He return man. So you don't necessarily need Luke to be the return man. And then you got Debo, and then you got Noah Brown. So you wouldn't necessarily need to dress a Luke McCaffrey in there because you got other multiple people that are basically return guys.
I see. Like, no. Like I said, no. Mike says, nah, Donna. We won't do you like we do Wole because he. I mean, hey, Mike. You know what? We did this last night, Mike. I'm pretty right. I was only wrong by B-Rob. I'm pretty right all the time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty right. Not to pat myself on the back, but I'm pretty right all the time.
But I'm okay because if people call me out, I said I didn't say that. I said this was just my theory.
Oh no, that's okay, Donna. No, Donna. I know you keep like.
Hey, but y'all can get Wally. No, I'm kidding.
They can get me. No, they can come for me. Because I give it back. They can come for me, Donna. They could definitely come for me. They can come for me. I'm cool with that. Todd, hate to say it, but Luke will suit up because he plays special teams.
Yeah, that's the reason why I say he might. It just depends on the numbers of who they don't suit up this week, pertaining to special teams, backfield, and all of those things. And Luke does play special teams. I don't think he's going to be on the field as far as wide receiver wise, but he could possibly, be suiting up for that because, as far as the return guy, punt return and all of that, who's going to be back there? They had multiple people back there returning the ball on special teams. Now, who's going to be that main guy? That's yet to be seen. So I'm curious to see the special teams, as far as that. But I think that Jaden Lane really gives you best chances as far as punt returner. And Brian Mitchell was talking about him as far as special teams. He said he's the real deal.
Yeah, you could tell. And Donna talked about it.
Oh, I saw Noah Brown.
Yeah, Donna said
him this week. He said he was ready to go. And let me tell you, he was tired of people asking him, was he ready to go? I'm good. I'm good. And the way I saw him in practice, the way I saw him in the last preseason game, just with Marcus Mariota throwing to him, I mean, he looks ready to me. So, the only telltale is him getting out there. I think they need a Noah Brown to be out there. So I'm just saying from what he told me and what he told the other reporters that kept asking him. I didn't ask him that. I looked at him in practice that my eyes saw that he was ready. So he wasn't going to give me the look, as far as don't ask me that question anymore. He said that he was ready multiple times that he was asked.
Yeah. So John, he says, I am nervous with our wide receiver depth. Keeping 5 is asking for trouble. Yeah. I'm nervous about it too, but Noah, like I'm nervous about the depth. I am. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, five, but the thing is, remember, this is the first week.
True.
It's going to be people that are bought in. It's people out there that the Commanders can look at. This roster is not going to be this roster. Yeah. Right now, they just did what they thought, with the people that they needed to keep. They thought that 5 receivers, they had confidence in those 5 receivers that they got right now, that they could go into the season with just 5. Will that be the end of them trying to get another receiver in here? No, it won't. I think that they'll have another person in here, throughout the season. We're going to see things change with this roster over and over again. And remember, they do have receivers that they can bring up. I'm not saying that they were lighting up any skies either. But again, I think that a veteran receiver, teams cut people. People are still out there from where they were cut. And the Commanders with Jayden Daniels can make everybody look a lot better.
This is very true, very true. And they got what's the old boy that was killing in preseason? That
Brooks?
everybody, yeah, Brooks. They got Brooks.
Corey Brooks.
Yeah, they bring Corey Brooks. I like him. I think if he gets an opportunity, he can make a few
Well,
plays.
that's the reason why I said basically Ja'Cory Brooks played against it wasn't Jaden Daniels that was throwing the ball to him. So Jaden Daniels throwing the ball to you is much different than Hartman throwing the ball to you, or Johnson throwing the ball to you. So I'm not really concerned right now with the wide receiver room, because I think that if they can stay healthy and whatever, then you're good to go. Now, when you start getting a few nicks and whatever, then we can come back. But I think that going into the season, that the Commanders knew that Noah Brown was much better, ready to go week 1, and Terry would be back. So, and then Jayden Lane has stepped up and really played well. So when you look at other teams with their wide receiver group and whatever, you got to feel good about what the Commanders have at wide receivers, because it's not too many teams, because most of the time teams have 2 solid wide receivers. We're talking about 4 wide receivers, really, as far as Debo, Lane, Brown, and Terry. I mean, most teams can't say about 4 wide receivers in the house.
You really okay? So you really hot.
And then we got a Zach Ertz, so he's basically in your passing game also. So that's the reason why I said I'm not nervous about the 5 wide receivers, because those 4 top ones, are pretty solid.
Yeah, you're really okay. So Lane is the truth to you. I can tell. I like Lane too, but he's the truth to you.
When I see him with that speed and the way he come over that middle, and the way you can go long on him and whatever, I just want to see him in real action, where the speed is, the speed is regular season speed. I want to see him in situations like that. Well, and let me just tell you this: it's no fear in him, no fear. And I think that when you come into a situation like him, where you can impact, where everybody, it's not just me, coaches are seeing that. Coaches are talking about that. His teammates are talking about that. Now it all comes down to how do you play when the real snap happens. And I think that we've already seen a taste of him. So I'm really, waiting to see how he really jumps in there and really takes off.
Mike has a question for you. Donna, how will our new additions to the defense stand up to the Giants' offensive line and getting to the quarterback?
Hey, that's what I've been talking about all night already. I want to see that too.
Just want to see it.
I mean, because the length and everything is there, but I want to see the pass rush. I want to see, did the pass rush get better with the additions to this defensive line? So I can't answer that question yet, because I wait until they play a real game. And that's when I start to assess where this team is. And so this week will be my measuring stick to start the process of seeing where this defense is, and are we going to see a real pass rush and stopping the run. So give me a couple of weeks and come back and ask that question, because I'm waiting to see that myself in the real situation. So I can only answer that question after this week, next week, third week, to see, can they get to the quarterback? They have the new bodies and everything. They're bigger. Like I said, they look like they're stronger, faster, and all that. So let's see how it really materializes with this week going up against the Giants offensive line.
So which matchups should Commander fans pay most attention to?
The matchups?
Which matchups?
Is that on defense, offense, or what?
Just in general. Would it be like, would you say defensive line versus offensive line? Would you say maybe Terry, or would it be like Jayden versus?
No, I want to see the offensive line against the Giants defensive line.
That's it. Okay, that's your matchup.
Well, only because I want to see the offensive line that has gotten better as far as the bodies and everything. They added Larry Tunsil, Brandon Coleman in his second year, Josh Connolly in his first year, and all the other pieces on that, Allegati and all of those guys that's on that offensive line against. Because the reason why I'm paying attention and I say that is because the Giants defense is a good starting measure stick for the offensive line because the Giants defense is pretty good and they come around those edges pretty quick. I mean, I want to see the Commanders, how aggressive they are. I want to see if the Commanders offensive line are the bullies and not being bullied. So that's where it's going to start with me, is looking at the offensive line of the Commanders against their defensive line.
John has a question. I mean, John says a statement actually. He says if Matt Gay misses a kick, would it be considered bad form to chase him out of the parking lot with pitchforks?
Hey, don't throw no rocks at Matt Gay. But I mean, that's been the biggest question mark, because I think it was asked to Coach Quinn was, hey Matt, if you miss them field goals, you better have somebody to bring you out the locker room in a car instead of walking out. But I think that was the question going in, that because he has struggled and they had asked Coach Quinn early on, hey, are you going to bring other kickers in? And they said no. And so right now, I guess that they're, I guess they're comfortable with right now going into him with him doing the beginning of the season. But again, for a kicker, and I'm not a kicker, but to me, if you're a good kicker, and I saw some good ones, and last year every kicker seemed like it struggled across the NFL.
True.
I mean, up in Baltimore, they ran him out for multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. His kicking was not good either. He got himself ran out of Baltimore.
There you go, so ran out.
But across the NFL, the kicking wasn't good. I mean, it was a lot of struggles with teams as far as their kicking game. So, and that's so key too. I mean, they were missing. Look how many times people miss extra points.
True.
And for me, if you're going to be a kicker, you got to be consistent from 48 yards and up. And really, to me, I'm kind of hard. You got to be good from 52 yards and in, because a lot of your field goals are going to be long. Think about the Commanders last year. Sometimes they didn't go for a 50-some yard field goal because they felt that they had a better chance of making the 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 or whatever. Then let the kicker give them good field position. So I'm looking to see also how he does, and if he start missing. We have some competition coming in here early next week.
I think they should. I think for them not to.
I thought that they should have bought somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I thought because sometimes when you bring somebody in, that puts pressure on you to do a better job. I mean, it makes you better.
Yeah, I think it makes you better. I did the same thing.
So because they did not, I was kind of like curious why that didn't happen, but. Needs to say they thought that they could go with what they did have, so it'll be interesting because he wasn't even getting sometimes kicks into the end zone, and you got to get kickoffs into the end zone because they basically giving you a gift to get it into the end zone. And so that's an area that you should watch closely to see how it happens, and I want to see how the return got, because remember the first game. The special teams had starters on there, a lot of the starters, and you let New England just run through like water. But I think that they played better after that. But I want to see if the Commanders can bust some of those runs and get good field position, because setting up the offense with good field position is key too for special teams. And as Coach Quinn said, it takes 3 phases to make this wheel go. And I think it's important to see that in the first game is all 3 phases have to be solid, because the schedule does not get any easier for the Commanders because they got a short week and then they got to go to Green Bay.
You ain't lying. You got to see Micah. He said, John says last year we did have a kicker that was 100% from 50 and in. Just saying, Cyber is still out there. I like Cyber.
And guess what? He could be coming back. Right?
Yeah.
To know that he's still out there means that it's a possibility that we may have to put you back in a Commander's uniform.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. So Donna, where do you see Washington's biggest advantage against the Giants?
The biggest advantage is, I think that their offense. I think that they have weapons everywhere you look on offense. That if they get started good, and I think that I see that the defense. To me, I think that the Commanders get some picks this week from that secondary. I think that's a big advantage too on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it all starts up front of the pressure you put up front. But I think that this secondary, that cornerback room, you should be able to get some picks. And that's where I see that. And Coach Witt talked about that. We got to get some turnovers. And I think that with that group back there, and even I was talking to Quan Martin, and we were talking about him getting those picks this year. It came so close, and now he's 100%. So that's the reason why I said with that back end of the defense and the way they play in as far as that position, I see the Commanders getting some more turnovers this year, and definitely even in this game, I see some picks coming their way.
Yeah, I do. I think that's a good one too. I just feel like this defense can get some turnovers. I think I feel like they're more suited to be top 5 in creating turnovers than the whole argument of can they be a top 10 defense. I think they're more suited to create more turnovers.
They're aggressive. The thing I like about this defense is they're aggressive. They play fast, and that's what Coach Witt talks about too, is they play fast. Going back to the offense just for a quickie, we knew that they did no huddle offense a lot, and teams are going to be gearing on that as far as, we know the Commanders do a no huddle offense, but guess what? You got to be able to stop it. You got to be able to get in position. And that's the reason why I said that it's important. I want to see how Kingsbury calls this game too, knowing that teams are going to be looking at you playing faster. But my thing is, anyway, until you can stop me, then guess what? We do this, because you think about when Riggles was running the gut and all that. Guess what? They did it over and over. You knew it was coming.
Yeah,
but
counter Trey.
Stop it.
Yeah, you knew counter Trey was coming.
So that's what I'm looking at is until you can stop that, then guess what? We're bringing it to you. And to play fast with the weapons they got, you ain't got enough time to stop. So. And I want to see the other thing is you look at the Giants cornerback room also. So can they keep up with the wide receiver room with the Commanders?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good matchup too. Terry, Debo versus that unit. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something to watch. All right. So Donna, you've been there. You've been in practice. You've seen the vibe of the coaches. How prepared do you think the Commanders coaching staff is for this divisional game against the New York Giants?
I think that everything that they put in place says that they're ready for this divisional game.
Okay.
I mean, looking at the Giants on the schedule, remember the schedule came out at the end of April, or was it the beginning of May? Whenever it came out. Well, the Commanders were already preparing for this first game against the New York Giants months ago, getting this team ready, putting people in place. The players that would make that 53-man roster was predicated on them starting this season off hot. So I think that everything has been put in place for this team to start fast. Looking at the whole schedule, not just the Giants game, but looking at this whole schedule, it was important that they put together a team that could push past where they went last year, or not have the question about, would this team get back to the NFC Championship team? I don't see this team winning 10 games or whatever. This team was put together to be better. Whether the record says so, it was put together to be better, to improve from last year to this year, to push you back to that championship game or further. So I think that's what you look at is this team better than they were last year? Well, everybody has to say yes, because of what you see in the, as far as the 53-man roster. Now, it doesn't mean anything on paper until you go and play, and then we can start assessing really where this team is. And this is the thing that the coaches also told me when I asked them about where they saw this team, where they saw the growth and all of that, is that, you know, you really don't know, because Kingsbury said that he couldn't really tell you about the offense and where they were because you didn't have all the pieces there, meaning that they didn't have Terry there. So it's hard to see, and you didn't have some of your linemen there, but you pretty much got all those pieces back now. So this is the time to say, okay, now we can kind of like measure where we are. And then in this first game, we can measure of what do we take away from it, whether they win or lose, and even winning, what do we take away that we know that we need to do better in the next game coming up against Green Bay? So I think that everybody right now, Coach Witt, Coach Quinn, Kingsbury, they're all measuring this coming game to find out exactly where this team is as a unit, because we really don't know that until we get on the field. Well, until they get on the field on Sunday against the Giants.
Folks who are listening, make sure you like this stream either on any platform, is X, YouTube, Facebook, whatever you're watching this feed from. Make sure you like the video. Hakeem has another question for you, Donna. He says, should the Commanders be favored to win the division after last night's Eagles versus Cowboys matchup?
It's too early to be calling that, because the thing about it is, I told you, first 4 weeks is sloppy ball. So everybody's trying to get a feel for where they're at as a team and everything. So, I mean, you got to give it to the Eagles right now still, whether they played like they did on Thursday night or not, is because they're the Super Bowl champs. So until you win the division and whatever, you can't put anybody to say, okay, should the Commanders be favored to win the division after that? Guess what? We ain't even played week 1. So I can't put nobody up there until I see mid-season is when you started looking about, okay, this is where that team is, because look how they're playing. But the first 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not putting nobody, no crown on nobody until I see people in action. And so to me, again, I think the Commanders are great, but it comes down to, let me see how you play on Sunday, as Coach Quinn constantly said in his presser this week. And I'm with you, Coach. I was sitting back there like, you know it, Coach.
I know that's right. Mike has a question. Donna, which tight end other than Zach Ertz will step it up this season?
I mean, Bates, you got to put him there, because John Bates is a blocker. I mean, he's not Zach Ertz. Zach is a tight end / wide receiver. And Bates is I'm going to block. He's like a tight end offensive lineman. So you kind of look at those two players, it's different. Beyond them, nobody has shown me enough in the tight end room beyond those two guys, because I think Ben Sinnott struggled in training camp. I thought that he would take the next step, up since he was here last year. I haven't seen him do that yet. I mean, will he do it? We got to see. But I'm talking about who has been consistent, solid. Zach looks even better this year, in training training camp. But beyond those two, those are the only two that I can tell you right now that are the solid tight ends. I haven't, and as far as the other parts, I think that's the area too, beyond those two guys, that you need to see the next guys step up.
Totally agree. I'm gonna read this non-swirl song. I appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking some Ravens on Sunday. I'll do a pregame before the Ravens game.
Ooh, I mean, I'm not jumping on that, but
I do that
what
too.
A game right there. I am
so
so excited to see that game too, between Baltimore and Buffalo. And I think they're playing in Buffalo, right?
Yeah, Buffalo. The game's in Buffalo.
Woo, let me tell you, if you ever been to Buffalo at that stadium, it's something to behold. And let me tell you,
I heard
Josh, look, let me tell you, quarterback wise, you can't go wrong. Because Josh Allen had an all-pro year last year. You can't take anything from him, because he can beat you throwing it. He can beat you running. I mean, he can beat you in multiple ways. And Baltimore, to me, has to be able to step up because they got all these weapons too.
Yeah.
With Derrick Henry, I know we were talking about Commander, but
No, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead. Donna,
when you
go ahead. Go
mentioned
for
that
it.
game, I got excited.
I know you
because
got hype. I know. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go.
I'm looking to see that game too because you look at these two teams and they're the cream of the crop in the AFC. And both of them, to me, is evenly matched quarterback wise. You know, they do multiple things right. So I'm loving to see both of them. But I think Baltimore, to me, has to prove that they are the kings of the division because, to me, they don't always utilize their weapons that they've got in a positive way. Derrick Henry last year, why did you get him if you weren't going to utilize him all the time? I mean, for the first part of the season, I was like, you didn't even have him on the field.
Donna, I know.
And then all of a sudden, ding, Bob went off, and you finally, how do you not use him? I mean, and when you did use him, I was like, duh.
See, yeah. Don, I do a week with Karita Parks, who covers the Ravens, do a weekly show, and we do a pregame show, and that's always the first thing I mention. Like, why is Derrick Henry not getting 25 touches? Like, why is he not? That's every time he gets 25 touches, you got like the Ravens win. Like it's wild. But we got, like you said, we got to go back to the Commanders.
We got to go back to the team down here.
The team, exactly. So, Don, who would be your X factor a player who could surprise folks in week 1?
Woo, wow, that's hard.
Don't say Luke McCaffrey either. Don't say.
Wally, did you see my look?
I saw your look. That's what I was trying to laugh.
Wally, if I could reach past there. Now, I like Luke too, so don't think I don't like Luke.
No,
I
know you like Luke. I know you like Luke.
I like Luke. Luke is cool. I mean, that's hard to say. I mean, the surprise person. I mean, Larry McTunsil is not going to be a surprise. I mean, I think he dominates. The surprise person, I really don't know. I can't call it because I'm looking at the defense, and I look over there, Javon Kinlaw. I really want to see the middle of the defense with Payne, and him with Johnny Newton.
Oh, Johnny, okay.
Or whoever's in that middle next to him. I want to really see how they click because remember for the longest it was John Allen and Payne, and I never thought that they complemented each other because I thought they did the same thing. That's true. And now that you got different people in there, I kind of want to see how that area really. So I probably will stay on the defensive side of the ball, and I want to kind of like see in that middle of how they really plugged in that middle. I want to see how Daron Payne, let me just call out his name.
Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
Because Daron Payne, they talked about him at the beginning of the season, how much better he has gotten, faster, smaller, and all of that. So now that he's there and John Allen is not there, I want to see how his play is really now. I want to see if there's a difference in his game and who's lined up next to him and how they just click together. So I'll leave it there as far as because it's a difference there. And the reason why I'm picking Daron Payne is
a good one.
That someone else is lined up next to him this season. So I kind of want to see what is the Daron Payne going to look like this year with a new person next to him. So I'll pick Daron Payne because of those reasons.
I like that. I actually like that a lot. And because a lot of people, because of the contract, a lot of people aren't as keen or high on Daron Payne. I like Daron Payne. I like
Daron Payne too.
I like him a lot.
He don't talk about no contract, even in his contract year. He just said, "I'm going out and play. I'm keeping quiet. I'm just doing my job."
So I do want to ask you that question because I did hear that narrative about him, looking slimmer, looking better. I think Coach Witt said that right initially. From what you see, because I trust your eyes. I do trust your eyes a lot. What do you see about Daron that's different from any other year?
I think it's refocused again. Okay. Refocus again. I mean, because he knows that I think that this is a key year for him also. It's some new added pieces on that defense that I think makes them better. And I think that he knows that he wants to step up to the challenge also for people not to have question marks about him, because I'm sure he heard about, hey man, Durrani been the player since that contract year, when he just busted out of the gates and everything. And I think that he wants to prove to people that he is that player still. And maybe he needed, like I said, I think some of the problem was that they did multiple things and they didn't complement each other as much as they should have complemented each other, being that they came from the same school, in college. But sometimes that's not necessarily a great thing, because Alabama had all great players, so they would always look good. But now when you come to the NFL, can you go up against these other people that's over there looking at you, that's ready to take your head off, and can you be the one to take off their head? So I want to see Daron Payne, with just how aggressive his play is. And I think that's what I'm seeing, is that the refocus, readjusting, got his body, kind of like lost the weight and everything. So I kind of want to see what that looks like now as far as his play. And like I said, the people who are playing next to him, how much, because if you're double teamed all the time and those people are not taking those double teams on, can you still get around double teams like Carter up in Philadelphia? Can you, take on that single person too, and you destroy them? Yeah, that's what I want to see out of Daron Payne, as far as if he's that player. And I think, like I said, I think the refocus on, I got to go out there and play. And what makes me better? Maybe I needed to come down and get a little stronger and slimmer, because he is faster, I think, because of the weight loss. So I'm really wanting to see that, really see that, getting around the guy, having different moves to get around the offensive lineman. So that's the reason why I said that I think that I've seen a difference in him there. But again, it all comes down to what I see and everything. Come Sunday is taking on those people. Can you take on those blocks? Can you get around that block and everything? So again, that's the reason why I said is that I'm going to be paying attention, because that's where my eyes is going to be on a lot on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that one. I actually like the Ron Payne one a lot. I'm gonna go. I mean, this guy's a Hall of Famer, but I'm gonna go this route. I'm gonna say Von Miller, because I've been hearing like the father time, like, oh, they got an older player, and I feel like Von Miller, from what I've heard of reports from yourself and other individuals, that like he looks good.
He looked like he lost a beat to me.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. And it's not a knock on Dante Fowler. He had a good year for Washington last year in terms of getting sacks. But I just think that there's levels to this. And when we're talking about an all-pro, Hall of Famer in Von Miller, who even when you were talking about being 80% of yourself or 70% of yourself, it's still better than a lot of people. You know what I mean? So in terms of the knowledge and just the knowledge of the game of playing football and the knowledge of that position, I feel like he's an X factor in a way that I think he can have a big game, a bigger game than what people expect, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Wally, the thing about when you bring a Von Miller in, you just don't bring him in for just his skill sets. You bring him up for his knowledge of the game and whatever, and how he can help those other guys to be in position, the right positions and whatever. It's his execution and all of those things that you can't teach. You either got it or you don't. And all those years of experience means a whole bunch. Yes. Just like to have a Bobby Wagner in there and the what he brings to that room, the experience and whatever. You talking about Hall of Fame players with the Von Millers and Bobby Wagners and whatever. They make the players around them better because of their knowledge of the game. I mean, the knowledge of the game cannot be taught. That brings so much more to the game of how you play defense and all that, of of helping people to be in the right spot and whatever, and you being in the right spot because you know the game. And you're not thinking. You got a Von Miller's not thinking. I want to see how he comes around the edge. But I only said Daron Payne because he has a different person next to him.
Mm-hmm.
So Von Miller, I want to see how they utilize him as far on that edge, because that's half the battle is, can we get to how is our edge play?
Mm-hmm.
Because I asked coaches about that. I mean, I really pay attention to the defense.
I know you do, though. I know you do.
I got to see an up front too.
Yeah. It's not the secondary. I know you want to see where the physicality is at.
I want to see the trenches of offense and defense. Because it all starts there.
It does.
If we're not good in the trenches, then everything else is going to trickle down.
Facts. So true. So Donna, what about for Washington? I know we all go wins and losses, and it'd be tough if they lose this game, right? Obviously, but what is a solid performance for Washington for you? What is a solid? What is that? Is it just a win? Is it a win? We're having the game just like a uberly competitive game, and both teams are playing good football. Was that disappointing, or what? In your opinion, what is a good performance for Washington?
It's just the execution of their plays, on both sides of the ball. We're talking about how does the offensive line up against the defense of the Giants? Do they dominate, or do they get pushed around? Do they protect Jayden where he doesn't have to run for his life? And how does that running game? I think execution to me is the measuring stick of how they come out the gates. Do they come out where they don't make mistakes? Do they come out where they don't get a lot of penalties called on them? Because if you get a lot of offsides and the flags come out and you got 9 or 10 penalties, that's not a good game. That's not a good showing. So how clean? Let's just talk about this. How clean is this game that you're going to play on Sunday? On both sides.
Yeah, I think I like
and
that.
And if you play clean,
and
everything, you should come away with a win.
Yeah, especially in the divisional game. You're right. Especially in the divisional game. Totally agree. So Don, you got a prediction, or you don't do predictions?
Nope, I don't do predictions.
I know you don't do predictions. I know you don't.
I already told you all. I gotta wait and see the first week.
Yeah, I don't do predictions
of this. So I'm not getting into that. I predict this or that. Nah, because you know what? A divisional game is too scary, no matter who you playing in the NFC East.
I'll give y'all a prediction because I did this already, and it's going to be posted soon on Big Doug's.
What's your prediction?
I got
I'm
Washington.
not a chicken Commanders fan.
I know you're not.
I just like to see the game play.
I know you do. I know you've been consistent. Every time I have you on the show, you do this. You say the same thing. So I have 30-17 Washington. Or is it 31? It's 31-17 or 30. I think it's 30-17 Washington. I just feel like, to your point, it's twofold. I don't think if the Giants, this is my opinion, if the Giants score like 26 to 24 to 26, or 27, I was going to say 27. They score like 27 points, then their Washington defense isn't good. Like, we have to go back to the drawing board. And I don't think, and to your point, I don't think the Giants, as good as the defensive line is, this Washington team last year averaged close to 28 plus points regardless. So I think that, in my opinion, it's just a hard offense to stop, period. You know what I mean? Now, granted, there are things in football that can happen in terms of mistakes, fumbles, this, that, and the other that can kind of dictate and change the direction of a game. But this team scores. So I feel like if this defense does its job, and they don't have to be world beaters, but you're not playing against other than Neighbors. Neighbors is great. Tracy is good. As a running back. But if you got these big guys to contain the run game, then Tracy isn't Saquon Barkley. You should be able to kind of like work around that. So my thought process, if it's what we all hope it to be, I know that the offenses can score 28 to 30 points. I know that I do know. I don't care. I know that this defense got to hold them to 17. So that's how I look at it. So I got a 30-17 Washington.
Okay, he giving them some points to get.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk, Donna. We didn't say it here on the show without even saying it, that this offense is hard to stop regardless of what defense you're putting out there.
Yeah, they're hungry. They're hungry.
Yeah,
they are hungry. So that's the reason I said I saw the excitement. They're ready to rock and roll. The atmosphere is going to be good on Sunday. with that crowd. I mean, it should be rocking. It's fun. My favorite time of the season is getting ready to happen. Kickoff of the 2025 NFL season. Yeah.
Non-swirls on. You said Commanders will still lose Sunday. Oh, you tripping? It's all good though. I ain't mad at you, bro. You're a Ravens fan though. You still cool with me though. So Donna, before we end the show and the stream, you know the norm. Plug your stuff, Donna. Plug the show. Plug everything.
First of all, watch Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. We're going into our 41st season this year on Mid-Atlantic Sportsnet. You can catch it every Wednesday and Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday morning at 9. And if you can't get Mid-Atlantic Sportsnet Masson, you can also look at the show on our YouTube channel. It'll be there after it runs on Wednesday. And then also to keep in the minute. Is the other thing where this is, when we can't do everything on the show, go to our podcast In the Minute. I post a lot of things from during the week and everything. So if you want to find out about your favorite players and to hear what's happening out there during the week before kickoff, during the weekend, go to our podcast. Make sure that you subscribe, like. We will really love you there. I try to comment back to you all, but all positive things, please. No negative things there. We try to show love and everything, but it's a way for you to get to know your favorite players. And also on Instagram, DJ Hop 32. I got you, Wally. And also on X, Donna Hopkins _.
Yeah. Perfect.
I don't even need Wally anymore.
You don't need you posting. You don't need me no more
because guess what?
I'm posting.
He's the one who got on me about X. He said, Donna, if you don't get busy there, and he can't get on me now because I've been really active.
I see. I've been retweeting. I just retweeted a whole bunch of your stuff.
Yeah, I've been pretty active, making sure that you can. I mean, because a lot of times fans don't get to see what's really happening. So I try to bring you a little flavor, about from my view of things that I think that you would want to see and everything. So you can thank Wally because he's been on me for the last 2 years or whatever. He's the Donna, if you don't get on X and start posting. I was like, I don't have time to do that, Wally. So thank Wally.
Yeah. Timothy said, thanks for your time, Donna. Yeah.
Appreciate you all.
Donna's awesome. You got two regular. Oh, you talking about Candy and Karita? Non-swirls on. Candy and Karita are like the other two folks I have on the show.
We appreciate Wally.
I try to look. I like the people that I like. I try to make sure they're showcased. That's how I look at life. I want to make sure folks get to see the great work that you all are doing. But yeah, I appreciate Donna as always. I'm trying to make Donna a regular for like preview shows. I already hit her up. I was like, Donna, I want you to be a regular on my preview shows. You know what I mean? I'm trying to. Her schedule is so real though, man. She's like so popular. Her schedule is so real. But I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. When
I told him I'll let him know.
He'll let me know though.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, especially football season started. It's definitely crazy here. So I understand. I know. But hey, folks, I appreciate y'all for pulling up and tuning in. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. We are out. Peace.
Swag.